Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour, the show that absolutely loves when news breaks on the day of the show, because that makes for great content. My name's Nathan Harvey. I'm not joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey, for today's show, but nevertheless, we got a great show planned for you guys today. A lot of basketball, but we want to get into the breaking news that broke about 2 hours ago. The news that we've been waiting literally for months at this point now. We're talking about the breaking news. Aaron Rodgers has officially been traded to the Green Bay Packers. Sorry, other way around. Packers trading for Aaron Rodgers away to the New York Jets. Got that backwards. This is how the trade basically breaks down. I'm going to bring up the trade value. Here we go. The Jets receive quarterback Aaron Rodgers, the number 15th pick, and a 2023 fifth-round pick, which is number 70. They basically pick swap between the Packers and the Jets. The Packers get the Jets' number 13th pick, a 2023 second-round pick, which is the 42nd pick, and a sixth-round pick for this year, which is number 207. Who knows what that pick will be? And also, here's the big one, the one that probably people were considering. I don't know whether or not this would fall through, whether or not the Jets would go with this. The Jets also are giving up a 2024 second-round conditional pick, which if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps in 2023, that gets turned into a first-round pick. That is huge. That is absolutely ridiculous. So essentially, the Jets are spending potentially a first-round pick, because I do think Aaron Rodgers will play 65% or more of the snaps this upcoming season. So it's a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a sixth-round pick for Aaron Rodgers and a fifth-round pick. The Packers absolutely fleeced this trade. The Jets, this is what I've been talking about. From day one, since Aaron Rodgers said, I want to play for the Jets, I said, the Jets are so desperate to get Aaron Rodgers. The Packers, while they obviously want to get off Aaron Rodgers because they have Jordan Love, they didn't really care. Because I believe the GM or maybe the owner came out and said, if everything works out, we should get off Aaron Rodgers. But if it doesn't, he'll be back with us. So the Packers, while they wanted to get off of him, they couldn't really care. The Jets were like, please, get us this quarterback. We need a great quarterback. We haven't had a great one in over a decade. And that guy was probably Mark Sanchez. So who won this trade? It's obviously the Green Bay Packers. Obviously the Green Bay Packers. Because with the Jets, you're getting a 38 or 39-year-old quarterback who was 90% retired just a couple months ago. Then you're going into this season where Aaron Rodgers notoriously does not do off seasons. He doesn't work with new receivers. The Jets are basically a brand new team. There's not many veterans, especially on the offensive side. So he's going to be walking into a situation similar to the Packers, honestly, where his weapons are brand new players, basically. Now, you do have Alan Lazard. You wanted to get Randall Cobb. You wanted Mercedes Lewis. You wanted OBJ. Now, apparently, they're looking at DeAndre Hopkins. You're trying to get a bunch of veterans when the Jets are sort of kind of not in a rebuild, but sort of they're very, very young. So you want to bring all these veterans and trade away young talent or sign young talent. I don't know what the Jets are trying to do here. But they did get Aaron Rodgers. That was their big pickup. They haven't had a great quarterback in over a decade. So what is this going to exactly bring the Jets? Because the Packers, honestly, between what they can be next season and what they were last season, there are many similarities for what can happen with Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Could Jordan Love go 8-9 in an NFC where there's only like 3 or 4 really, really good teams? Sure he can. Could he beat the Lions maybe once next season? Yeah, I think he could do that. That's something Aaron Rodgers couldn't do. Now, I think they'll be in the same position the Packers will be next year. 7-10, 8-9, 9-8. Somewhere in that range, because the NFC is terrible. It is absolutely god-awful. There's maybe 3 great teams, 3 good teams in the NFC. I'm going to bring up the standings right now. You got Philly, you got San Fran, you got, I'm not saying Minnesota's not going to go 11-0 in one-score games. Dallas, you could say, is good. And then you have a bunch of teams that could be good, but we got no idea. Will the Giants be the same level they were last year? They only went 9-7-1 with Daniel Jones. He threw 15 touchdowns. You're paying him $40 million a year. The Detroit Lions should take a step up. Obviously, they should, because their offense was really good, and they'll probably draft some defensive guys. Chicago, they went 3-14. Will they be good? They made a bunch of offseason acquisitions. We'll see how they do. Seattle, will Geno Smith have another phenomenal year? That's a huge question mark. How will the Rams perform when they're going to focus primarily on offense and screw the defense? That's a reason, apparently, reportedly, Sean McVay came back. Arizona is a dumpster fire. Atlanta, who knows? Saints, Derek Carr. People don't like Derek Carr. I got some respect for Derek Carr. I don't know how good that team will be. Carolina, will they be good with the new quarterback? CJ Stroud apparently is gone. He is now projected to be the number 2 pick, or he could be out of the top 10. I don't personally understand that, but whatever. We'll see what they do. Chicago, will they be good? There's a big unknown there. Minnesota's not winning 11 one-score games next season, so who the hell knows what they'll do? Washington, they're having Sam Howell as their starting quarterback. There's 3 to 4 really, really good teams. And then the other ones are just can be something, but who knows? So the Packers honestly have a really good shot at the 6 or the 7 seed. Hell, they may even have a shot for their division. Just throwing that out there. So the Packers, this is their plan. They were going to go to Jordan Love. They should have actually went to him late last season when the Packers had like a 10% chance to make the playoffs. You wanted to bank on Aaron Rodgers, who didn't play really that well, at least Aaron Rodgers, 1 year removed from back-to-back MVP the following season, and you put up that performance, you're going to put it on him to get you to the playoffs? He almost did. 1 game away, couldn't beat the Detroit Lions with the 32nd ranked defense. Got outperformed by Jared Goff, who not a lot of people have respect for. Now he goes over to the stronger AFC with Mahomes, Herbert, Josh Allen, Tua when he's healthy, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, I'm saying, is going to stay, probably. Deshaun Watson with Amari Cooper, I think, could be good. He just needed to get the rust off. We're going with a couple rookie quarterbacks that could be very good. Argue on Jimmy G could throw the ball accurately, and a lot of people think, I don't personally think this, but a lot of people think Russell Wilson will not have the same season he had last year. People say it's a little blip. I'm saying it's more of a trend. But people are saying, with Sean Payton, Russell Wilson will probably be much better. And I can understand why you could say that, and that very well may be. But Aaron Rodgers is now going to a harder AFC, a significantly harder AFC, and is expected to take the Jets to at least the playoffs, when if we're talking about a 4-time MVP, should honestly have Super Bowl aspirations. This was a good plan? Hell, you may even be third in your division, let alone be a playoff team. Because with the healthy Tua was a top 3 quarterback last year when he was healthy. He had he had several serious head injuries, and that dropped him all the way down to, being shut down for the season. So if he comes back, we'll have to see how he looks. Because when he was healthy, he was great. Now this could be the Kyler Murray thing. If he's scared to get hit, he'll be very cautious and not as dynamic, not as good, and we'll have to see. But last year, Tua, because that's what we have to go off of, last year, Tua, when he was healthy, was very good. I don't understand how anyone could say that this was a good trade for the Jets. You're getting a guy who may not even be there. And the big thing was that conditional second-round pick that could turn into a first. The Packers got a bunch of... They got so much for Aaron Rodgers. And they really didn't give up that much. You pick swap, so now you move up to the 13th pick. Now the Jets... Honestly, the Jets had a problem. They had 2 problems. One serious problem, and one problem they could probably address, they should address very early on. The major problem was obvious, and it was quarterback, even though they were actually winning with very subpar quarterbacks because of their top 4 defense. They had number 4 defense last year. But your other problem is offensive line. You need a tackle and maybe a guard. Now, the Patriots could use a tackle because they got screwed last year on the offensive line. Now, it's a Bill Belichick. There's 2 ways Belichick usually drafts. 3, honestly. The first one is the trade out. He'll not even draft in the first round. He'll just trade back and try to get something for that number 14 pick. He'll get a cornerback or some sort of defensive back, or he'll get an offensive lineman. That's how Belichick generally drafts. It's very rare. He drafts a quarterback in the first round. I believe that the pick on Mac Jones was the highest quarterback pick since Drew Bledsoe for the Patriots. Could be a mistake, but I'm pretty sure that is true. And he usually doesn't draft wide receivers. Now, he drafted N'Keal Harry at number 15. We saw how N'Keal Harry looked. Now, will Bill Belichick try to do that? He should, because there's a guy named Jackson Smith-Njigba who very well may be available at that point. You might want to go after him, but I have Joey Porter going to the Patriots because that's a Bill Belichickian draft pick. I mean, honestly, will Aaron Rodgers be okay? Aaron Rodgers on the Jets should make them much better. I think that is, no one could argue that. Aaron Rodgers is not going to make them worse than what Zach Wilson and what Mike White and Joe Flacco did for the Jets. He's not going to be that level or below. He should make them better. Should make them better. Now, they brought over his buddy, Alan Lazard. Funny enough, Rodgers was complaining about, the people around him. Alan Lazard was one of them, and he wanted to bring him to the Jets. Help me, make sense. Please, I don't understand that. You complain about the weapons you have, then you bring one and want more over to the new team that you want to go on. I don't know about that. But this is the way it's going to be. Aaron Rodgers got traded to the Jets. This really comes as no surprise. There's a report a couple days ago saying that he told his agent it's the Jets or nothing. It's the Jets or retire. So it was probably going to be the Jets regardless. And here we go. Aaron Rodgers traded to the New York Jets. Honestly, Packers, this trade, honestly, Packers get a B+, Jets get a B- to a C+ for this. Because the Jets gave up so much. But, as I've been saying, desperate times call for desperate measures. The Jets wanted Aaron Rodgers. The Packers wanted to get off Aaron Rodgers, just not as much as the Jets desperately needed him, and that's why you got to overpay for it. People say, you can't get a first-round pick for him, let alone 2. Well, technically, it was a first-round pick swap. But you are technically getting 2 first-round picks if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of his snaps, because you're getting the pick swap, plus you're getting that conditional second, which turns into a first with 65% of the snaps this season. And then you also get a second and a 6th, and only give up a 5. It's a good trade, just the Packers won this. Jets get their quarterback. Now they got to shore up the offensive line. Their defense was number 4 last year. Should be fine. Good for, honestly, all the teams in this. But Aaron Rodgers going to a harder AFC and now has bigger aspirations than he did in the NFC with Green Bay. Can he live up to it? I have no idea, but we will see. Let's get into our next topic here. Well, my 5-game pick has come to an end. The Golden State Warriors won last night by 1 point, 126-125. Behind a obscure play at the very end of the game to give Harrison Barnes a 3-point shot in order to bring them up by 2 to win the game when you're down 1. After Steph Curry made a unusual blunder and decided to call a timeout when the Warriors didn't even have one left. The saving grace in this game for the Kings, before I jump in on the Warriors, is Keegan Murray finally started hitting threes. Finally. I've been waiting to see this all series long. Can he finally live up to what his regular season was? A great 3-point shooter. Now, Herter still can't shoot the ball. He's now getting benched. He starts the game, but now he's getting less minutes than bench players. De'Aaron Fox putting the team on his back once again. 38 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. There's not much more you could ask of De'Aaron Fox. There really isn't. He's the clutchest player in the NBA, and now, probably, there was a report out today that De'Aaron Fox fractured the tip of his shooting hand. The tip of the finger of his shooting hand. On an off-the-ball play. Off the whistle. Wasn't even during the game. The whistle was blown. He made a layup, and then I think Anthony Davis blocked it. Or not Anthony Davis. Who was it? I think it was Draymond Green. It was Kevon Looney. He blocked it, and then all of a sudden, fractured the tip of his finger. Doubtful for this game. Are you kidding me? Now the Kings are going to be out with their best player? With Domantas Sabonis not even playing well? Are you serious? Now, before this report came out, I said, okay, this is how the series is probably going to go. The Kings won at home. Won 2 at home. The Warriors have now won 2 at home. Now, basic people who know math would say, okay, well, this might just be a home win, home win, home win, home win. It's just going to go all the way to 7, Kings winning 7. That's the trend we're on. But now with De'Aaron Fox out, I asked the question, can the Kings rebound at home, or are the Warriors in prime placement to end the series? With De'Aaron Fox out, My pick is screwed. Not only was my pick screwed last night for saying Kings win in 5, which, you know what? If they could hit a 3, they might be in position, especially last night, which I'll get into a little bit later. But now with De'Aaron Fox out, the Warriors are going to crush. The Warriors are absolutely going to dominate. Now, because De'Aaron Fox, the clutchest player in the NBA and the guy who's actually kept them afloat, is gone, now they'll be back at home for one game. Game 5 is at Sacramento. Without De'Aaron Fox, I don't think this team gets anywhere. Sabonis in this game. Let's jump into this game now. Sabonis played 37 minutes. He shot a little bit better, 7 of 13 from the floor. But he's getting bodied by Kevon Looney and Draymond Green. They're literally forcing him to shoot mid-range and somewhat close shots because he can't make them. He generally can't make them. I can't believe what I'm seeing for the Kings. A team that has shot phenomenally all season long can't make a basket. Now, it could be their age. It very well could be their inexperience in the playoffs. Mike Brown won unanimous Coach of the Year. If you win unanimous Coach of the Year, you should be able to get your players in position to win games. And if you can't, then we have a serious problem on our hands because your team did not look ready to play. Chase Center very well could be the Arrowhead of the NBA, the loudest stadium in all of the NBA. Because once Curry gets going at the 3, I said this in the last show. I believe I still have it up here. I do. There are 5 things that are near impossible to slow down or stop in the NBA, in the history of the NBA, off the top of my head. The number one thing is Shaq in the paint. Probably the most dominant paint player ever in NBA history. You cannot stop him in the paint. The second one is Jordan's mid-range shot. He'll pull up from anywhere in the mid-range and probably make it, I would say, 8 to 9 times out of 10. That's how great his mid-range was. Kareem's skyhook is arguably the most unblockable shot in NBA history. LeBron driving to the hoop because of his physicality and size. He's like 6'8", 240 to 260. Once he gets downhill, full speed, just move out of the way. Because it's either you're going to get a foul called or you're going to wind up getting hurt. And the last one is Curry in Chase Center when he's hitting threes. You can't slow down or stop Curry when the crowd's going, when he has that touch. When he's putting them to sleep, you know you're screwed. And that's what happened. That's what's been happening. Now, Curry dropped 32 in this game, 5-11 from 3. Jordan Poole played great. 8 of 15, only made 2 of 6, but he also came along with 4 assists, which have been crucial. Jordan Poole is a much better starter than he is a bench player. Now, Draymond Green had a great idea. Put me on the bench. When they sub out, bring me in. And that worked out really great because it's the first time in 3 weeks that Draymond Green had 10 or more points. It was back all the way April 4th where he scored, I believe, 17 points against the Thunder, I believe. He shot 3 of 14, but he also ended up with 12 points because he made 6 of 6 free throws. He had 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Draymond was great, especially defensively. He had a very nice steal late in the game against Sabonis. He tipped it, he stole it, and then kicked it out so one of his teammates could get it, and it wasn't just bouncing there in the paint area. It was a phenomenal defensive play. Klay Thompson basically played 40 minutes. He dropped 26. He was a plus 22 on the floor. Highest by a large margin than anyone else on the team. Without De'Aaron Fox, what can the Kings do? Herter's not shooting well. Domantas Sabonis isn't a dominant player that I thought he would be, or that he has been all year. Keegan Murray just started making threes now. Harrison Barnes, for some reason, you give him the last shot of the game. He was 1 of 5 from 3 at that point. But you know it was bad when, I believe it was De'Aaron Fox held the ball on the last minute, the last 10 seconds, and he dribbled. And then he stepped back and he lost the ball a little bit. Then he tried to regain it. He saw Draymond Green on the left side. What I would do is take the ball, create contact, get the foul called, make 1 free throw. Although De'Aaron Fox isn't that great at the free throw line. He missed 2 free throws. All you need to do is make 1 to send it to overtime. You make both, you win the game. But instead, he kicked it out to Harrison Barnes. And I believe Malik Monk was open in the back right shoulder of De'Aaron Fox, but you can't see that, obviously, in the back of your head, but I believe he was open. You give it to Harrison Barnes, who at that point was 1-5 from 3. You actually had, I believe, a second or so to maybe move up a little bit, create a mid-range shot, but he took the 3. It went off back iron. The Warriors stayed undefeated on the series at home. They go up 2-0 at home. Kings are 2-0 at home as well. The series is tied 2 apiece. I am nervous, to say the least, about just picking the Kings to win the series at this point, especially with De'Aaron Fox doubtful for Game 5. Now, if he does play, the report is that he'll have a protective covering over his hand. We'll see if that does anything. We will see. But I'm nervous. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little nervous about this Kings pick because I did say Kings in 5, and it was looking great. It was looking phenomenal going into Game 3. But Steph Curry had a Steph Curry game. Warriors won Game 3. Go to Game 4. We have this weird performance by a bunch of the Warriors players. Jordan Poole had a great game. Klay Thompson played great. Wiggins had another good game. Kevon Looney again, rebounding machine, 14 boards. Curry dropped another 32 points. Draymond Green put up 10 points the first time in 3 weeks. I got to give it to the Warriors. They're the better team. They'll probably be the better team in Game 5 as well, especially with the clutchest player in the NBA this year out probably. He's doubtful for Game 5, but we will see. Coming up, Dillon Brooks started barking at LeBron James and got bit as well as ejected in this past game. And y'all thought I was insane to say the Knicks would crush the Cavs? Well, they're up 3-1 in the series heading into Cleveland. And, Julius Randle didn't even play that well. And they still beat you by 9. I'll talk about that right after this.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. I'm not joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey, for today's show. But nevertheless, let's get into our next topic. We're talking about some Lakers, because Dillon Brooks has been trash talking LeBron James for the past week or so. He said he wanted to play the Lakers and take them out in the first round. And then he had a little bit of a problem. Game 2, he was talking smack, calling LeBron James old. And here's just a quote he had post-game. He said, "I don't care, he's old. I was expecting him to talk trash Game 4, Game 5. He's not at the same level as he was when he was at Cleveland and winning championships in Miami. I wish I got to see that. I mean, it would have been a harder task to obviously guard him." Well, let's talk about that real quick. Dillon Brooks, while LeBron James was getting to and winning championships, but not in Miami, when he was getting to NBA Finals in Cleveland, he actually did play Dillon Brooks, and Dillon Brooks did play him. Let's talk about that for a second. So, they played in 2 regular season games back in 2017. Dillon Brooks shot a total of 9 points in the first game. LeBron James shot 34. Okay, what about the next game? Dillon Brooks shot 12 points. This was another game this is 2018, February 23rd, 2018. The other one was December 7th, I believe, 2017. December 2nd, 2017. So in February, the same season, the second game they played that year, LeBron James dropped, 18 points, tied for the lead on his team. Dillon Brooks shot 12. A little bit of a closer competition right now. And then when LeBron, that was when they made it to the NBA Finals and lost to the Warriors. That was 2017, 2018. When LeBron James won on the Lakers, they played 4 games. 4 games against the Grizzlies. The first one, Dillon Brooks dropped 8 points. LeBron James dropped 23 points, along with 8 assists. In the second game, this was another win by the Lakers, but all these have been wins so far. Another win by the Lakers. LeBron James dropped 30 points, and Dillon Brooks dropped 12. So far, Dillon Brooks getting smoked by LeBron James. By the way, this is when LeBron was, mid-30s? Dillon Brooks in the third game. This is the game they still lost. Dillon Brooks, 7 points. LeBron James, 32 points. And then the last game they played when LeBron James was on the Lakers back in 2020, February 29th of 2020, the Grizzlies actually won this game, 105-88. LeBron James dropped 19 points, and then Dillon Brooks dropped 24. The only game Dillon Brooks has beaten LeBron James out in points. What about this past game? Well, Dillon Brooks started off terribly. He shot 0 in the first quarter. In the totality of the game, he went 3 of 13 for 2 rebounds because guess what? He got ejected within the first 12 seconds of the third quarter. About the 12 seconds. It was 11:43, so that's 17 seconds? He got ejected immediately in the third quarter for punching LeBron James in the midsection. And then he went on to say, he didn't even talk post-game, but he made a comment saying, the media making me a villain, the fans making me a villain, so now you think I intended to hit LeBron James in the midsection. Well, you already did it this past season. In this very season, you hit, I believe it was Donovan Mitchell, because he called you trash, you rolled over and punched him right in the midsection. So yes, you probably intended to do it then, and you probably intended to do it now. Dillon Brooks, you have nothing to your name. You say, oh yeah, LeBron James needs to score 40 on me for me to respect him. Your high is 37. LeBron James is 61. LeBron James has won, 4 NBA titles? You haven't even made it to an NBA Finals before. What is Dillon Brooks talking about here? We're talking more about Dillon Brooks' comments than we are about his gameplay because he has nothing to show. Because he's not a good player. LeBron James is about 100 to 1,000 times better than Dillon Brooks could ever dream to be. Dillon Brooks is just a guy, he's a bully on the court. That's all he is. He's not useful. He really is not useful. Doesn't score. Plays okay defense, not great. There's nothing really Dillon Brooks can do. Dillon Brooks not a good player. And him trying to talk trash to LeBron saying, score 40 and I'll give you respect. Or he's old. I wish he could one-on-one me. I wish I could play him when he was winning titles. Well, LeBron James was winning titles and he beat you. Showed you up. And he made it to NBA Finals and was beating you. And you didn't play well. This is something I don't understand about the Memphis Grizzlies. And ironically enough, I picked the Grizzlies to win this series because I thought, first of all, Ja wouldn't get hurt. That's the first thing. The other thing was I thought the Grizzlies would just play faster, stronger, and shoot better than the Lakers. But then Dillon Brooks opened his mouth and said, I want to play LeBron James in the first round and smoke him. The Grizzlies, this is something I never liked with the Grizzlies. They talk way too much for a team that has nothing to show. Yeah, you have a flashy player in John Morant. What's that going to get you? You'll get amazing amounts of views. Good. John Morant will be like the next Derrick Rose probably. He'll create a bunch of highlight reels. Good for him. He won't really win much. You'll make it to the playoffs a couple times, but is he getting you over the hump? Honestly, it makes no sense to get rid of Ja Morant, and I would probably never propose the Grizzlies moving Ja Morant. But statistically, the Grizzlies scored the same amount of points and also play better defense without Ja Morant on the court. Now, obviously, you need that superstar player to get you to the next level. But the Grizzlies just talk a lot for a team that has nothing to show. So Dillon Brooks talking to LeBron James about this, what are you doing? Save yourself the embarrassment like you were. You put so much pressure on your team and on yourself that when you pull up a 3-13 game and then say, well, they're making me out to be a villain, your nickname, I believe, is Dillon the Villain. You brought that upon yourself. At least show up if you're going to say, oh, yeah, he's old. Oh, yeah, he should drop 40 on me before I get respect. Like, come on. How about you drop 40 in your career first, and then you may get more respect around the league, let alone get respect from the greatest basketball player of all time. So we got to stop with this. Anthony Davis in this game played great. Played phenomenally. 31 points, 17 rebounds. That's the type of Anthony Davis we need to see from now on. Now, will he repeat it tonight? Probably not. Honestly, I'll say screw my Grizzlies pick. I think the Lakers are going to win this game. Because LeBron, you can tell he's fired up. He went to Dillon Brooks before the game. Who knows what was said there? But LeBron had a good game. Dillon Brooks played dirty again, got ejected. He sort of didn't get suspended. You could argue that, whether or not he deserved a suspension. But the only reason the Grizzlies were even somewhat close in this game, they did lose by 10, was Ja Morant went off. I mean, think about it. The Lakers, I believe the stat was they tied the record for the largest first quarter margin in either playoff history or just NBA history. The Grizzlies scored 9 points in the first quarter. 9. The Lakers scored, I believe, 35. Yeah, 35-9. The only reason the Grizzlies were close is because Ja Morant dropped 45 points, 13 assists, and 9 rebounds. Almost dropped a triple-double. He went 6 of 10 from 3. What did Dillon Brooks do? I'm just seeing a bunch of nothing. 3 and 13, 1 of 5 from 3. Didn't score until the second quarter. So, Dillon Brooks, you're talking a lot for a team and for a group that has really nothing to show besides one superstar player in Ja Morant. You're just rolling with the team. Ja Morant is the reason why you're doing so well. Jaren Jackson Jr. is Defensive Player of the Year. And what are you doing? You're just kind of there, just talking a lot of nothing. A lot of hot air. Meanwhile, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and you could say Jared Vanderbilt or Schroeder or Malik Beasley. Even Rui Hachimura is dropping a lot of points. They're going to town on you right now. Rui Hachimura, 22 minutes, 6 of 10 from the floor, made all of his threes, made 2 threes, 16 points. Incredibly efficient. Also had 5 boards to go along with it. Meanwhile, LeBron had 25 and 9. He did his job. Anthony Davis did more than enough to win the game. Now, Vanderbilt didn't score, only took 1 shot. He was more so in foul trouble. Did have 2 steals and 3 blocks, though. So he's good on the defensive end, at least. Austin Reeves giving you 13. D'Angelo Russell's giving you 17. He could shoot the ball a little bit better, but still gave you 17. The Lakers are a really good team. Right now, they look great. And I've said this a month ago, 2 months ago, at the trade deadline. I said, with the acquisitions that the Lakers got, moving off Russ, bringing in wing defenders, and some scorers like D'Angelo Russell, they should at least make the play-in. Well, they're in the playoffs, and right now they're beating the Grizzlies, who are the number 2 seed, I believe, in the NBA. At least in the Western Conference. If the Lakers will probably win this. And what are we going to say? What are we going to be saying about Dillon Brooks after this? Probably nothing. Because the only thing anyone ever talks about is what he's saying, not what he's actually doing on the court. Most players, when we talk about them, it's about what they did in a game or what they've done in a season. Or some of the greats, what they did in a career. Dillon Brooks, we talk about what he says after the game, after a win. which is somewhat rare when it comes to Dillon Brooks, and he's talking about how bad a player is after a win. Except he only talks when they win. Game 2, he talked. We like to hear great sound bites after losses, great sound bites after the wins, but on the court, we don't talk about it because there's really nothing to talk about. Besides, I don't know, when he hits LeBron James in the midsection. Good job, Dillon Brooks. You made headlines once again, but you kind of look like a clown doing it, so it is what it is. Let's move on to our last topic. Lo and behold, the Knicks are one game away from moving on to the next round. And people said, hey, Nate, this is a horrible take. Terrible take. This take aged so poorly. Really? Because I guess it's still aging then. Because all I'm seeing is the Knicks are one win away from winning the playoff series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And a couple people said in my comments section before how no one picked the Knicks. Look in my comments section. It's 90% people saying, look at game 2. The Cavs went to town on the Knicks. The Knicks are terrible. The Cavs' number 1 defense showed up. We could sweep the Knicks at home. It didn't turn out the way you wanted. Someone had a problem with me saying that the Knicks stole game 1. And the reason why I said stole, well, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the number 1 defense. They were the higher seed. People are saying that they're the better team overall. So yeah, when you beat a team who's better than you on the road, you stole a road game. Hate to break it to you. But this is what I saw coming. Donovan Mitchell got locked down in this game. Absolutely locked down. Couldn't do anything. He scored 9 points in the first half, 11 overall, and the 2 points in the second half came with 2 minutes remaining in the game. He was a no factor. He shot, I think, 5 shots in the third quarter, didn't make a single one. This is what I expected. I said Knicks in 6. It very well may look like Knicks in 5. Now, I'm hoping it goes to 6 because I want to actually go to the game in Madison Square Garden to see them move on to the next round. But if they win in 5, I'll be perfectly fine with that. They stole it on the road in game 1. They could do it in game 5. RJ Barrett, I got to commend him. What did I say? What did I say about the Knicks? RJ Barrett is the X factor when it comes to the Knicks. The X factor. Now, he did not shoot the 3 well at all. He went 0 for 6. But that didn't discourage him. He went 9 of 18 from the floor. 9 of 18. So take away the 6. He honestly really went 9 of 12 from 2. So he shot the 2 very, very effectively. He also shot 13 free throws. He couldn't really hit the free throws. He went 8 of 13. He had 2 rebounds, 1 assist. It was a great performance from RJ Barrett. Arguably his best playoff performance in his career so far. Jalen Brunson, like I said, he'll get 20 plus. He'll get his. 11 of 22. He went 5 of 9 from 3. 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Did his job. 29 points. Josh Hart in the starting lineup, which I thought was a great decision. Now, it was because Quinn Williams was a did not play because he was dealing with a injury/illness, right shoulder, and contused. And you put in Josh Hart, and late in game, he came up big. Now, he only had 2 offensive rebounds, but I believe both of those were very late in the game and very, very crucial for the Knicks. 7 total rebounds, 19 points, 7 of 16 from the floor. Mitchell Robinson, great rebounding performance, 11 boards. Hartenstein, he had a great game. 8 rebounds, he only had 1 point, but those rebounds were crucial. Obi Toppin, I do love Obi Toppin. They gave him more minutes. 2 of 5 from the floor, 1 of 3 from 3, but he did have 5 offensive rebounds, which was basically a third of the entire Knicks team on offensive rebounds. So he had I think he had a good game. Now, I'm not going to say really good. He had a good game. If the Knicks bring any sort of the same energy into Cleveland for Game 5, the Knicks are going to close it out in Cleveland. Because what the Cavs did in this game was embarrassing. What Donovan Mitchell did was embarrassing. Now, it got a little scary because at some point in the game, it may have been the third quarter, Darius Garland started the third quarter just making threes, making shots, passing the ball, driving to the lane, making the layups. He was doing a bunch, but it wasn't enough. The largest lead the Cavs held in this game was 3 points. The Knicks led as much as 15 in the game. The Knicks had 9 more second chance points. They had more fast break points and only 2 fewer points in the paint. The Knicks this season are a really, really good team. Now they'll probably go up against the Bucks because Giannis will be back tonight. I believe the game started already, or it'll start in about 20, 30 minutes. So Giannis will be back. The Bucks will probably sweep out. I don't think the Bulls, or not the Bulls, the Heat are going to come in and win 2 more games with Giannis there. I mean, I'm not going to say Knicks beat the Bucks, but I think it will be a very, very good series. And good for the Knicks. The Knicks really deserve this game. They played their hearts out at MSG. And I said, when they get to MSG, the crowd starts to get rolling. Crowd gets loud. MSG is arguably the most famous stadium in the NBA. I mean, what else can you do? How else can you stop MSG when the Knicks are rolling? Great win for the Knicks. Phenomenal win for the Knicks. Now they go back to Cleveland. They may play tomorrow or they may play on Wednesday. But it's a great game. Phenomenal game. Good for the Knicks. And I believe that does wrap it up for this episode of the Harvey Hour. It's a little bit shorter than normal. But don't worry. I'll be back on Wednesday for another episode of the Harvey Hour. Fired up. It's the short in between. It's like, half an hour? It's in between this show, which is Monday and Friday. That's a little in-between slot on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you check me out then. But for this episode of the Harvey Hour, my name is Nathan Harvey. This has been the Harvey Hour. Catch us Wednesday if you want to check me out, 3 p.m. On Wednesday right here on YouTube. Or if you want to check out the Harvey Hour with me and my dad, he'll be back on Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. I will see you then.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
Or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.